But you don't do it when you walk in and say, hi, my name's Amie. I'll be singing somewhere from Over the Rainbow. And you've never heard of it because it's a new show because I wrote it myself. And by the
somewhere
way, right?
from Over the Rainbow. Oh, comedy gold. Hello, we are here with Sun Sounds of Arizona in Flagstaff, Arizona, and welcome to episode 14 of Untamed Shrews, Women Talk Theater, presented by the Flagstaff Shakespeare Festival. I'm Hannah.
And I'm Becki, and welcome to today's episode. Today we have Amie Bjorklund with us, the new production manager at Flagstaff Shakespeare Festival. Woohoo! Welcome, Amie. But before we get officially started on today's topic, how is everyone?
And also, Dawn is not here today. She texted us this morning saying that she's in Babyland, so Dawn will not be here today. So this will be our first just Becki and I Shrew day. We got
Duo
this.
interview.
Yeah, we got this. I'm good. How are you? You just got back from New York.
Yeah, I went back for, I guess, like a long weekend, specifically to see the Winnie the Pooh musical show that was playing in New York City, which has just closed, but is headed to Chicago. And then from there, I think they have plans to take it on tour. And it was just so stinking cute.
Aww.
Yeah, I have a friend whose partner did something in the lighting department. And we saw him there, and he was like, yeah, we thought that this was going to be like a lot of kids in the audience, but it's just a lot of adults for like the nostalgia of it. And I'm like, of course it is. Like, that's why we're here. I went with my mom and my sister.
Have you seen the Zooey Deschanel one?
No. Of Winnie the Pooh?
The Zooey Deschanel Winnie the Pooh just brings me tears. You must watch it. Me and my brother weirdly quote it all the time.
Great. Good.
But it has all Zooey Deschanel music.
Okay.
It's adorable. It's very aesthetic. It's super cute, but I highly recommend.
Nice.
Good. Well, welcome back.
Yeah.
It's a Wednesday. It's cold here. It's February. Happy February.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious, it's February.
Yeah.
January was so weird.
Yeah. And actually, so Amie, which maybe you'll talk about this, I don't know, but you're making masks and you just did a Valentine's Day line or
Valentine's Day line.
My Valentine's Day release. St. Patrick's Day is coming.
Yes. Which I got a mask from you and I wore it today because I'm like, it's February and it's full of hearts and sparkles and I'm looking at it right now. You both are looking at me, looking off screen. I'm just admiring my mask from Amie.
Well, this seems like the perfect time. Hey, Amie.
Hey.
How the heck are you? Can you introduce yourself to the internet world?
Yes, of course. Hello, internet world. We've met. I'm on you all the time. I'm actually in California right now, and it's beautiful and sunny, but windy.
Ooh,
like that biting, chilly wind that cuts through. I'm great, other than a little chilly today. So yeah.
Yeah, we've had like literal wind advisories. It's been pretty crazy here in Flag.
Yeah.
It's I just don't like being cold, so I'm like officially over winter. I am ready for spring and summer, so over it.
See, I love being cold, which is why I did not always do well in Phoenix.
Oh, yeah,
I would much rather add layer upon layer upon layer than continue to have to remove things until suddenly they're like, ma'am, you have to put your shirt back on. Like, it is 120 degrees.
Ma'am,
no.
You're naked.
Yeah, and still sweating and disgusting. So could you please go jump in the pool or something?
That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Amie, tell us a little bit about yourself. What are your hyphens? You're currently in Sacramento, but what's a bit about your background? Where have you been?
I have been everywhere, man, to quote the song. So I am an actor and a director and a singer. I used to be a dancer, but I would say now I'm probably a singer who can dance.
Strong mover.
I learned
mover, yeah.
I learned quickly when I lived in New York and was going to equity dance calls that I am not a dancer.
Ooh,
I can dance.
I feel that so much.
So that was my first when I was in my 20s, and I had to just, that realization of, I might not be able to do everything as well as other people can. So that's professionally. I also am a film professor, and I teach theater and acting and like set design and technical theater and theater history. And
wait, I did not realize. Oh, I'm sorry to cut you off. I didn't realize that you taught set design.
I do. Yeah, I've taught set design a couple of times.
Nice.
Okay.
And it always makes me want to be a set designer. Like, yeah. So yeah, and then this semester at one of the colleges, I'm teaching like a women in performing arts leadership course.
Oh, yeah.
So that's really nice. So I have 3 young females that we just talk about this, actually, what it means to be a female, but more in the leadership roles, like instructors or ADs or things like that.
OMG, can you give them extra credit to listen to our podcast?
I'll just ask them to, and they would. And they're all over the country too, so
that's cool.
It's kind of cool. So yeah, that's kind of what, like on my bio it would say. And then I make masks because we are in the 3rd year of
this
the
pandemic.
bid.
Yeah.
And yes, so my sewing skills are increasing, and I crochet. And I read.
You crochet. You're such a good crocheter.
Yes.
You always give cast gifts that are crocheted.
Yes. Cast gifts are my favorite things to find and learn and give.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah. My rose, you give everyone a rose after Midsummer and Hamlet.
Yeah.
And it's hanging up in my room.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll have cast members that will, like, I made bookmarks for Sense and Sensibility, and then I'll hear from someone that they use their bookmarks, or it's kind of cool to kind of be remembered as we, get away from the shows.
Yeah, and then funnily enough, okay, so remember in Titus, you gave us the little pies, the little empanadas.
Yes.
She made little crocheted pasties. And I gave it to my little nephew. And it's still in his little toy box. Aww. And every time I like go home to see them, there's just a little empanada, and it's so cute. I just think it's so silly.
Filled with human meat, which just makes it
true. I never told him that it was a human pie.
Smart.
One day he'll learn the true origin.
Sometime I'll tell him about Titus Andronicus. It'll be a rite of passage.
Yes.
Oh, that's funny.
Yes. And then, so then the other things, just I'm currently getting my second master's at ASU in film studies.
So many masters.
Yeah. Because why not?
Why not?
That's the vid, right? Because then I also last year became a certified website coder, because I was like, well, I'm home, might as well learn how to make websites.
Wow,
Amie does so much. Yeah.
You gotta keep busy.
Gotta keep busy. And, you're also our production manager now. So.
There is that. I also have 5 jobs.
Yeah, so many jobs.
Yep.
Well, this seems like the perfect transition to, my first question about degrees. Your thoughts on degrees. Clearly, you are like all about education. What do we think about degrees? I've considered getting a master's. It's kind of scary to go back to school, but also, getting a degree in theater that you have to pay for is also scary. So yeah, I'd love to hear more about your experience with getting. I know that you got your master's in London, your first master's in London, right?
In Birmingham, but yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So yeah, I would just love to pick your brain about, what you feel like degrees have helped you achieve, and whether or not you recommend other young people getting secondary degrees in theater, and how you feel like they've helped you.
Sure. So I right out of high school did get my undergrad. So I do, whether it's a trade school or like, it doesn't have to be a 4-year, but I do think there is a skill to time management and learning how to do things yourself in your early 20s that college gives you that not a lot of places do. Yeah. So, I mean, work definitely. So, but even a year trade, learning to be an esthetician or a plumber or work with your hands, like whatever your passion is, I think trade schools and colleges are vital because they teach you life skills that maybe we don't get in high school, because we're kind of maybe coddled in high school and like told when to go where and when to eat. And those are all the things you learn in college.
And you're also still like literally a child.
Yeah, you're learning. You're learning how to, get drunk on a Saturday night and then work on 4 a.m. on Sunday morning. Like things that only college can teach you.
The real truths.
Yeah, living with 6 other people and having a literal roommate that you share 2 beds in one room with. Like these are things that you don't do in your 50s.
Right.
And, well, I mean, maybe you do, no judgment.
True.
But it's such this foundational learning that only college or that kind of environment can give. So I am a believer in secondary education at undergrad. But as far as the next level up, I chose to not get my master's until about 10 years after my undergrad. Because I specifically wanted to work in the industry.
Yeah.
So after college, I danced on a cruise ship for a year, and then I lived in LA and, did everything an LA actor in their early 20s does. And then I moved to New York when I got my equity card, and I was like, yes, let's go do New York for a couple of years. And school really wasn't on my mind because I wanted to perform. And so it didn't make any sense to me. Like you were saying, it doesn't make any sense to spend $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 to go just do what I wanted to do.
Right.
But I was always older, more grounded, more wise for my age. So I was not playing ingenues, and I wasn't playing, like I was playing showgirls, but they don't but I wasn't playing the Joannas and that's not my vocal type. So I was kind of too young to play the roles that I physically and vocally could play, was meant to play. Yeah. So when I hit my early 30s, I said, hey, well, I have a good probably 5-10 years.
And you look crazy young. You look crazy young. So
well, yeah.
So were like, so you're like, shoot, I need 20 years.
Right.
Give me 20 years before I can play.
And then I can play. Yeah. The
Mama Rose,
Lady M's, and all because Sondheim is written very much like Shakespeare, where you have ingenues or you have leading women. And I was never vocally right for ingenues. And so I was like, okay, I just need to age into leading women.
Yeah.
What should I do for the next 10 years?
Yeah.
While that happens.
Ooh, I feel this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then that's when I went to graduate school, because I knew I kind of hit a point in my career that it was time to do more education. It was time to get more training, because I was working consistently, but I wanted to be better at my job. Yeah. And so to do that, I decided to, spend the money and just take a year and focus totally on acting. And I think it was one of the best decisions I ever made.
Yay. Yeah. And that was in the UK.
Yes. Yeah. Because then I could get it in a year. I also, I'm all about time management. I was like, how can I get my master's done fast?
What's the quickest track?
Yeah.
Now,
and I also wanted a PhD at some point. And so I didn't want to get an MFA, which is a terminal degree. I wanted to get an MA, which then could lead into a PhD.
I did not know that.
I did not know this. This is such good info.
Okay.
Yeah. So MFAs are fantastic. Like, I love MFAs, but they don't really easily lead into the PhD.
Fascinating, really?
Track, which is what I want. Yeah.
And when you auditioned for Birmingham School of Acting, right? BSA?
Yeah. BSA. Well, it's called Birmingham Conservatoire now, I think. The name changed. But it's the same thing, yeah.
Yeah. Did you go to IRDA's? Did you do the mass audition for it? Or did you specifically research that and you're like, nope, that's the school. It's Birmingham or bust?
No. I specifically researched Yale and Harvard and Juilliard and Tisch. Like, those are the classes those are the ones that I was like, this is it. And so I did go to IRDA's in Chicago.
Okay.
And loved it. Spent 3 days just, sitting in hallways and waiting for my name to be called. Yes.
Yeah.
But then I was walking down a hallway and BSA was there, and they had a slot. And, when you're kind of done with your slot for the IRDA's and you're kind of waiting for the next day, and are you going to get called for any college to come in and whatnot, you're going to have this block of time, and you can go audition for other schools that are there that aren't part of IRDA, but have, secured a room in the hotel.
Yep.
We are here. Come
come
dance for us. Yeah.
We when I was in school prepping for IRDA's, we called it like the black market, because it was like these shady schools, like, we're not with IRDA's, but come audition for us.
Yeah.
The underbelly.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's how I found BSA, was the black market of IRDA's. Yes. But they were there, and three people from the school were there, and thank goodness I had 2 contrasting Shakespeare pieces.
Yeah.
And I'm just telling you, everyone, you never know when you're going to need it.
Oh, totally.
So
have it ready.
And I, I'd been auditioning for 10 years, but you never know what they're going to ask for. And then an a cappella song.
Nice.
And I got my offer letter, and
then you went.
And then I went.
It's so funny though, because I just I know you pretty well at this point. I just can't imagine, I know how well you would fit into the UK lifestyle. So I'm just I don't know. It just seems like it was meant to be. I don't know.
Maybe that's why I walked down that hallway.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. Yes. Well, and at the time, because I'm sure all of us do this, I was like, well, maybe, because I was working a job that I didn't like, but it was in a hospital. And so I thought maybe something in the medical field. And so I was really researching physical therapy. Oh. Yeah, being a physical therapist. Because I had my massage therapy certification. So I was a certified massage therapist.
It's like insane. I don't understand.
Renaissance woman.
So I was
literally, yeah.
So I was doing that, and I was like, well, I really like the human body and how it works and all of this. And maybe I should be not just the massage therapist. How can I get to the height of my field? I'll be a physical therapist. And then I sat because that's the best way to think, is to just like poo. You sit, you think, and you think, and you think.
Yeah.
And I was like, I would much rather, like when I thought about my dream life as a physical therapist, it was like my own practice on the beach that I'd make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year doing. And that would be the only way I was happy. And then when I thought about my career as an actor, I was like, I would be happy in a black box in the back alley of NoHo. Like, I don't care where I do it. I just want to do it. And that kind of was my deciding factor to continue that path instead of a different path.
Yeah. Physical therapy would have had to have been like, you would have had to have been like the most successful you could ever possibly be. You would have had to like break the glass ceiling of that that entire industry to be happy.
Totally. Where I'll just break the glass ceiling of this industry.
Oh, of course.
And be just as happy.
And with physical therapists, like on the West Side tour, we traveled with one because that show was so dance heavy that we always had one with us.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. Well, I did a show with a woman who ended up being a physical therapist on Broadway with like specific shows.
Yeah.
That's the coolest job.
Yeah, that is funky.
Was this woman always like, whenever there was a show, she was there, or was it like she was on call? Okay. Yeah.
No, like her full-time job was to be at the theater.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, with secondary degrees, I've thought about doing it, and I just kind of told myself, if I'm ever not working, I would do it. And I guess I'm glad to say that I've never not been working in the field.
Yeah.
I guess what scares me the most is just like the money. Like I had a full ride for my undergrad. So a master's just scares me because, I got out of my undergrad degree with no debt, and I really don't want to do that. So I've kind of looked a little bit into like fully funded programs, but of course the fully funded programs are like the hardest to get into because everyone wants to go to a fully funded program. And I don't know, I'm still thinking about it. I mean, I'm 26, so I have plenty of time.
Yeah.
But it would be a big life decision because here in Flagstaff, NAU does not have a master's program that I would want to do. So it would require leaving. And I don't think I would want to do a master's online. I think I would want to be there in the room. So I don't know. It's definitely something I've considered. Bex?
Yeah, I've thought about it. As I mentioned earlier, I went to URDA's my senior year of college, and I didn't go with the specific desire to get into a school. I went because I wanted that experience of this like mass audition with a group of people who I am comfortable with and I'm friends with, like my senior class basically. Right. So kind of just having that comfort to it. And
to give it a go.
Yeah. And I did have some luck. I eventually did not, I haven't gone to grad school yet. But it has always been something that's on my mind. I always say that I'm just like casually looking at grad schools. Like I say it, but I'm
dating them.
Yeah, exactly.
Not intentionally. Intentionally dating grad schools.
Just looking for friends with benefits of grad schools.
My grad school hoe phase.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm not doing any like research, and I just feel like if the time is right, or if I feel like there's a lull, or I feel like I am looking for that extra education,
or just a change.
And I do see a world in which I do eventually go to grad school for acting. I'm just not making any moves for it.
Totally.
Yeah. And much like Amie, I think you'd mentioned, right after undergrad, I wanted to get real world experience. I'd only ever been in school up until that point. So I didn't want to go from school to school to school to school. And for some people, that works for them. That's their path.
Not for me,
But for me, I wanted and I needed that real world experience.
I agree. I think the other thing about getting a secondary degree for me is I have so many interests. I don't know which one I would choose. I want to do acting. I want to also get an arts administration. Like I want an arts administration degree. I want, dance. I want music. I want, is there something that's everything?
Yeah. So I know there's a school just outside of Philly. At least when she went through the program, it was like this. So I don't know if that's the same, but I believe it's an MA, and, so she had like a concentration for her MA, but then they also needed to do like another aspect. So I think the other thing that she did was like set design, or maybe it was like TDing or something, but that was like built into the program. So
interesting. So they do exist.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I would be afraid to just get an acting master's or just get a directing or just get an arts admin, because I do all of it. So I want a little bit more of everything. Maybe I just need like 6 masters. Maybe.
Well, now you're talking about all the money you're scared of spending.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I think, and I say this to my undergrad students as well, it's college is what you make of it.
Right.
So
totally. The classes you take.
It's exactly. So based on kind of where you are now, I would say in the next 5 years, Hannah, I see you getting a master's in arts administration. And then you also act and you also dance, and but that master's in the business side of our world is invaluable, and that will be used the rest of your life.
Totally. And
you will always act, and you will always dance, and you will always sing. Like the same with Becki. Like it's a thing that, and that's one you can get online as well. But it's
true.
So, I mean, I think it's why, when students are like, I don't know what to major in, a major in business, because we are selling ourselves. So that's our job, is to marketing, business, because that's all we do.
I know.
And I would say, take the word, it's scary out, because life is scary.
Oh, for sure.
Pandemics are scary. Driving in a car is scary. Having debt is scary. You're going to have debt.
Yeah.
You're going to have debt when you buy a house. You're going to have debt if you ever get married. You're going to have debt if you decide to travel. Debt will be with you. I know very few people who don't have any debt.
Money's a construct.
Well, it's a construct that rules our lives.
But don't worry, I'm not like a weird conspiracy theorist. Wait, very, very funny side note. Can I talk about a random conspiracy theory? Okay. Here at NAU, there's an entire club called Birds Aren't Real. Have you heard of the Birds Aren't Real movement?
I have.
Gina is shaking her head.
At birds.
So there's
are you?
Are they real? Well, I promise we'll get back to the real topic. But apparently there's like a satirical conspiracy called Birds Aren't Real. And it's about, at least I hope it's satirical. Gina, is it real?
Well, there are pieces of realness to it, but of course you have to realize I heard about it through my 15-year-old niece,
and
through my 20-year-old son.
Okay,
so
I think it's a funny thing. Okay,
I think so too, especially the two of them in particular.
Okay, okay, so
they don't believe it, but then they're like, there are people that do.
Oh goodness. Okay, so I thought it was satirical. Maybe it's not, but anywho, it's the Birds Aren't Real movement, and it's like the whole thing where they're like, those birds sitting on the electrical wires up there, they're charging. They're not real birds. Those are fake birds. They're droid birds. And it's like, they're watching you. Anywho, birds aren't real. Okay.
Okay, so people who are going to go Google that, don't Google that. Google flag shakes and what shows we're doing and who we are. Do not spend your time.
Do not spend your time on Birds Aren't Real.
Spend your time looking at Shakespeare plays and
listen to Untamed Shrews. Yeah.
Yes.
Nice plug.
Go look at Amy's website.
Right. Don't do anything else.
Hire Amie.
Yeah.
Anywho.
Oh, actually, that leads me to a question. Just going off of websites. And then in my mind, going to like resumes and stuff. Amie, when you are going in for an audition, or when you are going in for something that's specific, I don't know if you've ever gone in for a set design interview or anything like that. Do you tailor your theatrical resume to just that specific, or do you also include, like, I also do this, or please ask for my production management resume, etc.
Yes. How do we do this? I have like 3 resumes. Help.
If I focus based on, if I'm going in for an acting audition and you only get that 5 minutes, I'm just focusing on selling myself as an actor.
Yeah.
But then in talking with them, or in meeting them, or in then saying thank you to them afterwards, when you send it was great to have 3 callbacks. It's great. It's totally fine. I didn't get the show. If you ever need anything else, here's everything else I do. Yeah. I think that's a follow-up that a lot of people forget to do. Your general auditions, yes, you don't need to send thank yous for meeting yous because they're going to see hundreds of people. But if you've seen this casting director, you've seen this director 3 times because it's down to 3 of you for this one role, and you've spent an hour with them, you send a thank you. Thank you for your time. It was great meeting all of you. If you ever need a production manager, if you ever need someone to help with set design, if anything like that, that's when you put your foot in the door. You don't do it when you walk in, you don't shake hands, but you don't do it when you walk in and say, hi, my name's Amie. I'll be singing somewhere from Over the Rainbow. And you've never heard of it because it's a new show because I wrote it myself. And by the
somewhere
way, right?
from Over the Rainbow. Oh, comedy gold.
So you pick your time. And I think that missing piece, the plug yourself after is where you then plug yourself after.
Yeah.
That's great.
But as far as fixing your resume based on what you're auditioning for, heck to the yes. If you are auditioning for a Shakespeare piece, for a Shakespeare company or a Shakespeare show, and Shakespeare is buried 5 inches into your resume, no. Doesn't matter if you did it 5 years ago, click it to the top so they know you played that role.
Yeah.
You weight it based on, and if you're going in for musical theater, put your Shakespeare down at the bottom. Let it be there still. But I heard when dinosaurs roamed the earth, they used to say it has to be chronological, and then that has changed.
No,
do not do chronological. And if you've worked for someone really cool, make sure their name is where they're going to be seen.
Yeah. Becki has even highlighted.
Oh, I have, yeah. For if it's a show that I've already done, so like Indecent, I did it with Flag Shakes, and then couple years ago when a lot of theater companies were also doing it, I just highlighted it on my resume.
See, I just pop it to the top. But
or that.
I don't know. It's the first
I've
thing
been in this show. Hire me, please.
Yeah. I've heard that, like, and maybe this is more for business. I'm sure it's the same for theater, but people will look at your resume for an average of like 3 to 5 seconds. So if you can't highlight, grab their attention, put on the top of what's the most important, quote unquote, to them, you could lose them. So
and you don't want them looking at your resume while you're performing. So let them look at it after.
Yeah.
So you want them to just
that's the worst. You're like, sir, I'm singing my heart out right now to this random
songs
song
from Over the Rainbow.
Yes. Somewhere from the musical Over the Rainbow.
Oh my gosh.
And they're looking at your resume and you're like, look at me.
But it happens.
Yeah.
So
it's the worst.
You're not supposed to be looking at them anyway, so it doesn't matter.
True. Oh, goodness gracious.
I feel like I was just taken back to like my horror stories of auditioning.
Oh my gosh. We need to have an audition episode.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
And not horror stories, but maybe a good house.
Yeah.
Oh,
good stuff.
I mean, definitely a horror story one because I love our silly episodes. Also, anyone listening, guys, our show disasters episode, I laughed out loud editing that episode. So if you haven't listened to it, oh my gosh, what are you doing? Okay, moving on. Selfless plug. I want to know about day jobs. What are our best day jobs for actors? What are the day jobs we've had that work? What are the day jobs we've had that do not work? I mean, obviously, all 3 of us have worked in arts administration. So for me, that's been my best day job is working, obviously, for Flag Shakes as our marketing director, but also being able to act, dance, direct, all those things. But I had, years ago, I had pretty good luck as a barista. Schedules worked out pretty well for that. I could work early mornings and still have all my evenings and honestly most of my daytimes too. If I worked like the 6 to 12 shift, I could still get to rehearsal at 1 o'clock and it was really not too bad. So I highly recommend if you're struggling as an actor, it's not working for you. Being a barista worked for me pretty well.
Oh yeah, I used to do the 4:30 to 12:30 shift at Starbucks, or 4:30 to 10:30. That's when I lived in LA, and it was for that exact reason. And I got hired with those things. I said specifically, I only want to work somewhere that I only want a cafe where I work opening and I'm gone by 11. Never want to work another shift. So don't hire me if you need a night person.
Right.
Yeah.
I was very clear about my needs.
That's great that you were so forthcoming with the with your schedule, and if it didn't work for them, it didn't work for them. I don't know.
And it's Starbucks, whatever.
Yeah, they want the 4:30 person. Who else wants the 4:30 shift? Are you kidding me?
Yeah. I don't know. There's definitely been moments where I'm like, oh, like, should I tell them, or I'll wait, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, well, if I would have just been more honest with them, and if that wasn't the job for me, that wasn't the job for me, rather than just like worrying about it.
Totally.
I think you make a great point. Definitely. Yeah. It's going to come out what you actually do. Very few people want to work these day jobs as their actual job. They have other things that they do. Yeah. So I think the more honest that we can be, and again, setting that standard of being honest. Hey, I'm here for a paycheck. I promise I'm going to be a good worker. I will show up for work, but this is not my passion.
Right.
When I'm here, I'll focus, but here's what I need to be able to do what I want to do.
And I can't take it home. Like, I'm not taking this job home.
Yeah. Totally. But I think then you have, if managers saw that someone who's focused enough to say that and driven enough to be like, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come in every day, 5 days a week for 6 hours a week. For 6 hours a shift. And you have me for that time. I won't be on my phones. I won't be doing anything else. I'm here. But if you don't need me that time, I'm not going to be here. And I think the more that we can be, harness our own power to be strong enough to say, yes, this is what I want and this is what I'm asking for. And again, being okay if they say, no, that's not going to work. Great, that's not a job for me.
Yeah.
Most of the jobs that I've taken have been like that.
What other day jobs work? You mentioned massage therapy. I have an actor friend who did that. I've also heard stuff like yoga instructor and Pilates instructor, things like that, where you build your own schedule can be really good. Do you have other day jobs that you've done over the years that really worked out?
Well, when I lived in New York, I loved my day job because I was a temp. And so speaking of jobs that you're totally fine walking away from.
Totally.
But it worked really well because I had a great temp company that I worked for, and they knew that I was there. Plus, it's a skill set that will be used on every continent, in every city, in every state. You will always need a secretary. You will always need someone who can answer the phone well. Like, I would say that's another skill to really, really know.
Yeah.
Because there are people who are terrible at it. But if you can be good at it, you will work the rest of your life.
Yeah.
But I used to, like, I would leave my flat at 5. I would sign up for my equity call at 6 a.m. when old fashioned, when it was, you had to go in and do it.
Oh, you still, actually, I don't know if pandemic changed, but there are some that you still, like, maybe it's like the 2 slots at the end of the hour or whatnot, where it's not online. But well, it's intentional for people who maybe don't have access to a computer, or if you didn't sign up in time. Gotcha. Yeah. Sorry.
So the internet was around, but
I know nothing
but we
about
didn't
this.
really play with it as much.
Yeah.
So I would walk to the AAA building. I would sign up, and then I would go to work, and I would sign up for a lunchtime slot or an after 4 o'clock slot. And I would go to work in my little heels, and then I'd work, and then I would run back to the AEA. I would do my slot time. I would run that. So I would work my lunch hour based on when my audition time was.
Right.
And then, so I did that the 2 years I lived in New York.
Gotcha.
And then during audition season, January, February, March, I just would save and not work as much those 2 months, because I knew that those days would be 8-hour audition days all the time.
Yeah.
So temping, I'm a big plus. The other part, temping it's gotten me a lot of other jobs, because there's a skill to being a good temp that once you harness it and once you're good at it, you need to work with people quickly. You need to understand how people think quickly. You need to pick up on jobs quickly, and you need to be able to learn a lot of skills fast. And that has helped me as an actor and has helped me in shows, because you learn how to deal with a lot of different personalities that maybe aren't how you think.
And I also feel like there are some moments in the rehearsal room where maybe the director is asking an actor to do something, and the actor is like, but ooh, I just want, and it's like, just try it. Just try it and see what happens.
Yeah.
If it crashes and burns, it crashes and burns. But like, I don't know, it just sounds like, I've never been a temp, but it sounds like that, just like jumping into something and like, I don't know, just picking up what someone else is putting down.
Improv of the corporate world.
It really is.
Yeah.
And then sometimes, there was a job that was so boring that I would fall asleep at my desk every day, because they just needed a body there.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything. I literally played games on the computer, and all the phones went directly to the execs. Like,
so why
no one came in.
Yeah.
But it was for hedge fund, and I got.
And
Yep. I read. I got fed breakfast and lunch every day, and I could take snacks home. So for a starving artist,
Oh my gosh.
I had like cereal for dinner every night because it came from the vending machines at work that were free for me to use.
That's hilarious.
Don't turn down temp jobs because you never know the perks that are going to be there.
That's so funny. I love that.
And you get paid weekly. There's the other nice part.
Oh, true. Yeah, money's coming in a little more like quickly, consistently.
Yeah.
I've never done temp, but I've also never lived in a big city, so I've just like never really needed to, or lived in a place where that was really like a thing. We're having such a great conversation. I think we have time. I mean, we actually are over time, but I'm gonna ignore it.
Well, if you cut out the bird thing, we'll have plenty of time.
No, Amy, I will not cut out the bird thing. How dare you?
They're not real anyway, Hannah.
They're not real. Birds aren't real. Neither are we. This is life is a construct.
It's
Are
all
we in a
dream.
simulation? Oh goodness. Okay, so if we have time for one more question, what's our like last burning question to chat with Amy about? I have all these things here: babies, family, audition fatigue, working, day job. Well, we already talked about day jobs. Places we've lived.
Ooh,
I don't want to talk about
Places we've lived?
babies.
Oh, you want to? Wait, you do. Or you
I don't want to talk about
Okay,
babies.
great.
We'll let mamas talk about babies.
Babies are off the table.
As they should
Babies
be.
off the table.
Get that baby off the table.
Tables
should
I
not be
can't
on
talk about them.
Let's just say babies should not be on tables. Okay, so places we've lived.
Perfect.
I mean, you've done the LA thing, which for a long time I was really interested in the LA thing. And it was actually a moment in time, Lauren, if you're listening, me and my friend Lauren almost moved to LA together once. And then I booked Sense and Sensibility. And I was like, Lauren, I'm so sorry I can't move to LA with you.
Arizona will do that to you.
Yeah. So I didn't move to LA, but there was a time where I was like really heavily pursuing it, and I was kind of more thinking like the Disney route. But I'd love to hear more about LA. Actually, our guest next month lives in LA, so I also want to like pick her brain about it. But like, what are your thoughts on like the different vibes of different cities and like where you felt most successful? I mean, you did both, the LA thing and the New York thing. Becky
the
knows
cruise
about
ship
the
thing.
Philly. Yeah. Becky knows about the Philly thing. So like, what are our thoughts on the different big cities and like kind of the vibes they give off?
I was successful as I could be. Well, okay, so let's change the word successful because I think that it harnesses a lot of expectation to it that we don't necessarily need to bring to our world.
Right.
I enjoyed myself in LA and I worked consistently and I learned a lot about the arts and about creating and about who I was and what I wanted, which is why then I moved to the UK. But then when I lived in the UK, I want to go back to the UK. All I want to do is live in England. I want to die in Scotland. Like that is my goal. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
But outside of our abilities is the government that says, you can't stay here. You have to go back to the US.
Right.
So no matter how badly I wanted something, we don't always get what we want, obviously. I was also very career-wise, I did very well in Phoenix. I worked consistently in a lot of different theaters and a lot of different avenues. I was able in Phoenix to do what my lifelong dream which was to quit my office day job and just create. So the day I quit in 18 to just be an actor, I say that with air quotes because there's nothing just about
theater,
it.
not yes.
To pursue what I wanted to do for my life, which was not sit behind a desk.
Right.
I felt unbelievably proud of myself.
Yeah.
So I think Phoenix was the
remember
place
that.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. It was amazing to say, I trust my skill set enough to not have to have a backup plan.
Yeah.
And Phoenix offered me that. And I would never have thought that when I was 25, 26 living in LA, when LA's the universe, right? And so I think and Atlanta is huge, and New Orleans is huge, and Chicago is huge. And I have friends in Seattle who work all the time. So I think it's about finding where you enjoy living, because what we do is only part of how we spend our days.
Life, of course.
So if you hate where you live, but you get to go to the theater every night, or great, but you also can get to go to the theater every night in a place that you actually love living. So I think that would be, some cities have terrible vibes. I do not there are cities I'm not going to say here, but there are cities I will never want to live in.
Oh, no,
I've been there. I've visited, and
vibes,
I never want to
Amie.
go back.
I want to know the cities you hate. Give me the tea.
We'll do it offline.
Yeah. So I think that's the thing. And I think but like I stepped out of the train in Edinburgh and I literally got chills, and it was like the heavens opened and said, this is where you belong. Yeah. And so anytime I go somewhere that I don't feel that, I'm like, okay, I'm not supposed to die here. I'm supposed to go back to Edinburgh.
That's so funny. Ooh, gosh.
Catch me in Scotland.
Where do I want to die, guys?
Oh boy.
Not thought about this. You are ahead of me.
That would be my only thing, is we can work in every place. Like if you go where there's art, you will work in art. Yeah. And if we take out what is the expectation of being successful, which I couldn't have done in my 20s and I couldn't have done in my 30s, but now when I'm like, damn, I've done it, like quote unquote been a version of success. I think that's how we should be thinking, is what makes you feel successful, and then pick where you want to go to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you might be miserable in LA, Anna. You might hate it.
I know, right? And that's kind of the thing, is like New York, Chicago. I mean, those are always on the table for me. But I always say to everybody, I hate being cold.
You do.
So,
but you're in Flagstaff.
I don't know what the hell I'm doing here. I love it so much.
There it is. That's why.
But like with New York or Chicago, it's not that they're not off the table. I think that it's totally possible. And every time I visit, I'm like, oh, I could do this. But, you know, I do hate being cold. Yeah, I don't know.
I was about to say,
but
at least two of the other coldest cities.
I know. But here in Flagstaff, I don't have to walk to a subway when it's 20 degrees.
Yeah, your commute's not an hour.
Right, my commute's not an hour. So it is tough. It's such a toss-up. Obviously, I would love to like try it and try to do the actor thing in one of those places. But I don't know. I also love my little city. I love my little Flagstaff. So it's tough to decide. Yeah. How about Philly, Bex?
Well, I don't really have a desire to, at least right now, make Philly my home.
Yeah.
Or my home again. I've said this a lot in the past like month, but what I am putting out into the universe is to be able to spend part of my time here in Flagstaff or a mountain town. Or a mountain town, specifically wherever. Flagstaff. Yeah. And then also to spend part of my time in like New York City.
Yeah.
And that would be my ideal. And it's particularly because of like the lifestyle of Flagstaff and the mountains and the outdoorsy nature. And then specifically New York City because of like I have friends there, and also like Broadway. Like when I was there for a couple months. You
saw so many shows.
Yeah, like oh, Random Tuesday? Great. Like, what can I quickly get, like, $40 tickets for? Or, like, I don't know, cheap tickets. And
And nothing makes you want to see theater more than seeing good-ass theater.
Yes. Yeah. And create good-ass theater. Like, there's no reason that we can't inspire that same kind of, it's Tuesday, what should I do? Let's go see a show. In any city.
Totally.
In any town. Like, that's the mentality that should be carried. Not just to our major cities.
Yeah,
it should be someone in Flagstaff going, wonder what I should do now. Oh, Theatricals has something. Oh, Flag Shakes has something. Oh, let's go watch this.
See a band, go blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
Exactly. Let's go see some live music. I think that's, if we can harness that and like.
Which Flagstaff is pretty good about.
It really is.
I can see something or go do something or be part of an event. If I wanted to, at least every weekend day, and often during the week if I would like to.
There's a good arts
community here,
and not just
it's one of the reasons I love
type.
Flagstaff as well.
Right. Yeah, there's aerial, there's dance, there's theater, there's live music, there's a
fine
lot
arts.
Like oh yeah, it's so true. So many gallery openings and like things like that to do.
Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
That was a great conversation.
Yeah.
Yay. Yes.
We definitely went over by like a heck of a lot. That's okay.
All the bird people will donate to our people and they'll be like, thank you for funding us. And we'll say, yes, give us $50.
The bird people. Wait, honestly, guys, what if our first sponsor was a conspiracy theory? Honestly, I'll take your money. I'll take your money.
Money's just a construct.
Birds aren't real.
Birds are constructs. Money's a construct.
Birds aren't real. If you want to support Untamed Shrews, which is the weirdest pivot. What if Birds Aren't Real was like, yes, this women in theater podcast that has like Shakespeare adjacent roots. Yes, we definitely want to support them.
Hey, there are conspiracy theorists around Shakespeare, so everything goes hand in hand.
That's true. I mean, there's conspiracy
there are people who
theories
think he wasn't real.
Oh, that could be a fun podcast episode.
That would be fun. Okay, what did we say? We said an audition episode.
Yeah.
We said, Shakespeare conspiracy theories. They're good. There's true. There's like whole books about that.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. Weird one. He was born and died on the same day. Spooky.
Well, we don't know the day he was born.
No, that's true. We don't know.
We just like to believe that he's that.
We
like to believe that he's that bookended about things.
Yeah.
Unless it's easy to remember. But I only have to remember one date.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Anywho.
Thank you, Gina, for putting up with this.
We did not ask her if we could stay longer.
Oh my gosh, I love listening to you.
Also, I don't know if the world, have they heard Gina speak? That was Gina, everybody.
Yay.
Hello.
Yes.
That's Gina, our audio engineer at Sun Sounds. She's the best. Cool. Thanks for listening. Oh, no, Becki, that's you.
Oh.
Oops.
Stealing my lines.
Stealing Becki's lines.
Thank you.
It doesn't matter.
What? There's your whole episode next, too.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone, for listening to this month's episode of Untamed Shrews. I'm Becki.
And I'm Hannah. Join us next month for an episode with Rena Nightingale. She is an actress and a body-positive force of nature. She just wrote a book. She's a friend of mine. I can't wait for you guys to meet her.
Woo.
Follow Untamed Shrews on our Instagram at Untamed Shrews Podcast and on Facebook at facebook.com/Flagstaff Shakespeare Festival. All episodes of Untamed Shrews can be found on sunsounds.org, the Flagstaff Shakespeare Festival YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Stitcher. Please subscribe, leave us a review, or put us in your Instagram stories. Please help spread the shrew love. We still didn't technically decide what the name of our following was.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wait, we should talk. Okay, so on Instagram.
Sorry, Gina.
Sorry, Gina. We had Shroopies, as in shrew groupies.
Mm-hmm.
We got Shrew Crew. What did my brother say?
Shroompa Loompas.
Thank you, Cody. You're getting your shout out. My brother Cody suggested Shroompa Loompas.
And I feel like there was one
more. There was another one.
There was
Shrewsies. Like newsies.
Yeah.
Shrewsies.
Or groupies.
I like Shrew Crew.
Oh, there's Shroopies and then Shrewsies.
Shrewsies. Okay.
Anywho,
yeah.
I kind of like Shrew Crew feels. I don't know. It's got the. I don't know those Shroompa Loompas.
Yeah.
Wait, what was the other one? Hold, Becki stall.
Okay. Well, wow. This conversation with you, Amie, has just been so wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So your program right now, are you graduating?
At ASU?
At ASU, yeah. Are you graduating this year or
December?
December.
December, yes.
Okay.
And I didn't get to walk for my first one, so I am forcing myself to walk. I'm not forcing, but I'm really excited to walk for this one.
Yeah. What can I
put
ask?
my little banner on.
Ooh. Yeah. Why weren't you able to walk before? If that's a story you feel
Well,
comfortable
we had
sharing.
to leave. They were like, your program's over. We'd like you to leave the country now.
Oh,
please go.
Great. And it wasn't like, hey, but week we'd like to walk at our graduation. They're like, don't care.
No thank you. And then I could have flown back in May because a couple of people did, but in the the following May for the graduation. But I was working at the time, so I did not.
Gotcha.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay.
Oh, welcome back.
Okay, little shrooms. Like mushrooms.
Okay.
Cockashroodle-doos.
Ooh.
Air shroodites, like erudites.
Wait, I don't even know what that is.
Shrews Company.
Okay.
Which I kind of like.
Oh, like Two's Company.
Yeah, like Two's Company.
Okay.
And Motley Shrews. I kind of like Motley Shrews too.
Oh, that's funny. Would Motley Crue come after us though?
I don't
Nope.
think.
No. Okay. Oh, because it's a pun. Because it's a spoof.
And the word
Motley Shrews is not. Yeah.
Okay.
I think if we like tried to use music
copywritten word.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Cockashroodle Shrews. That's just a nice opening.
Cockashroodle Shrews.
Before every podcast episode. Cockashroodle. Okay. Anyway, sorry,
like
Gina.
Motley Shrew. Anyway, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. Help spread the shrew love, guys. That was that was quite the tangent.
Yeah. Okay. This episode of Untamed Shrews, starring Becki Zaritsky, Hannah Fonts, and Amie Bjorklund. Show art by Calliope Luedeker. Podcast theme song by Cadence Lamb. Podcast produced and edited by Hannah Fonts. Presented by Flagstaff Shakespeare Festival and recorded with Sun Sounds, Arizona. Special thanks to our audio engineer, Gina Byars.
Yeah, Gina.
Yay. Thanks, everyone. Thank you,
gosh.
Amie.
Bye, Amie.
Oh, wait. Oh, sorry. sorry, we didn't give Amie the chance to plug any of your things.
Hit us up. Amie, where can they find you? No, this is fine. I won't cut it out. Give us your Insta. Give us your website. Give us your everything.
All of my handles are the same because I think you need to keep your handles the same so people can find you. So it's official_Amie, AMIE, B as in boy. So official_Amie B is my TikTok, my Instagram,
TikTok,
Twitter.
Hello,
TikTok,
we
because
didn't know
I
you had a
can everything.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
TikTok viewers love to watch people do things.
I love that you have a canning TikTok. That's the most you thing I've ever heard. Oh my gosh, you're so cute. Okay. Anyway.
So yeah, that's where I am. Find me on the socials.
On the Soch. Woo. Also, find us on the Soch. Tell your friends. Untamed Shrews.
Yay.
Okay, bye.
Bye.